In the vast, unforgiving expanse of the Pacific Ocean, where the horizon swallowed hope, Nora Blake clung to a splintered board, her body battered by waves and her heart by regrets. A marine biologist who'd fled her past, she found herself stranded alone after a research dive went catastrophically wrong, with only her will to survive keeping her afloat. For 48 grueling hours, she battled dehydration, sharks, and the ghosts of her mistakes, unaware that her desperate fight would unravel a truth about herself and her family that would redefine her purpose. As the sea tested her limits, Nora's, survival became a beacon of resilience, proving that even in the darkest depths, the human spirit could shine brighter than the stars above Riverside City. Nora Blake stood on the deck of the Sea Wanderer, a research vessel bobbing in the Pacific Ocean 50 miles off the coast of Riverside City. It was August 4, 2025, and the morning sun blazed, casting a golden sheen over the endless blue. At 34, Nora was a marine biologist with a reputation for fearless dives into the ocean's depths, her work on coral ecosystems earning her grants and grudging respect from colleagues. Her sun-bleached blonde hair was tied back, her green eyes sharp with focus as she adjusted her scuba gear. She wore a black wetsuit, her lean frame marked by a small anchor tattoo on her wrist, a reminder of her father, a fisherman lost at sea when she was 10. Nora's life was the ocean. It was her refuge from a fractured family. Her mother, Ellen, a riverside librarian who'd drowned her grief in work, and her younger sister, Mia, now 28, who'd cut ties after a bitter fight 2 years ago. Nora's relentless pursuit of science had cost her relationships, but out here, among the waves, she felt free. Today's dive was to tag a rare species of deep-sea fish, part of a conservation project funded by Riverside University. Her team, Dr. Liam Carter, a grizzled oceanographer, and Tessa Nguyen, a tech-savvy grad student, prepped the equipment, their banter light despite the high stakes. "Ready, Nora?" Liam called, his weathered face creasing with a smile. She nodded, checking her oxygen tank. "Let's find that fish." Tessa, monitoring the sonar, gave a thumbs up. "Weather's clear, but a storm's brewing by tomorrow. Let's make this quick." Nora dove into the water, the cold shock giving way to the familiar weightlessness of the deep. The ocean was a cathedral of blues and greens, coral reefs teeming with life. She swam with purpose, her camera capturing the ecosystem's beauty. But as she descended to 60 feet, a shadow loomed. A malfunctioning underwater drone, part of their tracking system, spun out of control, its propeller slicing through the team's anchor line. The Sea Wanderer lurched, and Nora surfaced to chaos. The boat was drifting. Its engine stalled, and a sudden swell, unpredicted, violent, crashed over the deck. Nora clung to the railing, shouting for Liam and Tessa, but another wave hit, throwing her overboard. The last thing she saw was the boat tilting, her team's screams swallowed by the roar of the sea. When she surfaced, gasping, the Sea Wanderer was gone, sunk or swept away, leaving her alone with a splintered piece of the deck, her only lifeline in the vast Pacific. Nora clung to the board, her body shivering as the sun climbed higher. The ocean stretched endlessly. No land, no boats, just waves that rocked her like a cruel lullaby. Her wetsuit offered some protection, but her oxygen tank was gone, lost in the chaos. She checked her dive watch. 10:47 a.m., August 4th, her emergency. Beacon, clipped to her belt, was damaged, its signal weak. She activated it anyway, praying it would reach someone. Dehydration set in quickly, her throat dry as sandpaper. She rationed her energy, tying herself to the board with a scrap of rope to avoid drifting off in exhaustion. Her mind raced. Liam and Tessa, were they alive? The thought of their loss gnawed at her, but she pushed it aside. Survival demanded focus. By noon, the sun was merciless, burning her exposed face. She thought of her father, his stories of surviving storms, his voice calm in her memory. The sea tests you, Nora. Respect it, and it'll respect you. She scanned the horizon, hoping for a ship, but saw only a distant fin. A shark, circling lazily. Her heart pounded, but she stayed still, knowing movement could attract it. The fin vanished, but the threat lingered. As dusk fell, the temperature dropped and Nora's body ached. She talked to herself, a trick to stay sane. "You've got this, Nora. You're tougher than this." But her thoughts drifted to Mia. Their last fight vivid, Nora accusing her sister of wasting her life, Mia calling her a cold, selfish scientist. The words stung now, a regret heavier than the waves. By dawn on August 5th, Nora's lips were cracked, her skin blistered. Hunger gnawed, but worse was the loneliness, the ocean's vastness mirroring the void in her heart. She'd always run, from connection, burying herself in work to avoid the pain of her father's death, her mother's distance, Mia's anger. Now, alone, she faced those ghosts. A seagull landed on her board, a fleeting visitor. Nora laughed, a hoarse sound, and named it Hope. The bird flew off, but its presence gave her a spark. She checked her beacon, still no response. The storm Liam had mentioned loomed on the horizon, dark clouds gathering. Nora tied herself tighter to the board, bracing for impact. The storm hit at midday, waves crashing over her, the board nearly splintering. She clung on, coughing seawater, her body screaming in protest. Lightning cracked, illuminating a memory. Mia, 16, sketching by the riverside pier, her face lit with dreams. Nora had dismissed her art, urging her to do something real. Now, she wished she'd listened. As the storm passed, night fell, and stars emerged. Nora, exhausted, hallucinated her father's voice. "Keep going, kid." She sang their old fishing songs, her voice weak but defiant, a lifeline to her will. A shark bumped her board, its rough skin grazing her leg. She kicked, shouting, and it retreated, but fear clung to her like salt. August 6th dawned, Nora's 48th hour adrift. Her body was failing, vision blurry, muscles cramping, but her mind sharpened, survival instinct overriding despair. She thought of her mother, Ellen, who'd withdrawn after her father's death, leaving Nora and Mia to fend for themselves. Nora had judged her harshly, but now, facing death, she understood her mother's pain. A distant hum broke her thoughts, a helicopter. Her beacon had worked, faint, but enough. She waved her wetsuit sleeve, screaming until her throat burned. The Coast Guard chopper spotted her, a rescuer dropping into the water. "You're safe now," he said, his voice steady as he secured her to a harness. Nora sobbed, relief and exhaustion crashing together. On the chopper, she learned Liam and Tessa had survived, rescued hours after the wreck. The Sea Wanderer had sunk, but Nora's beacon had guided the search. At Riverside General Hospital, she was treated for dehydration and sunburn, her body weak but alive. Ellen and Mia arrived, their faces pale with worry. Mia, tears streaming, hugged her. "I thought I'd lost you," she whispered. In the hospital, Nora faced her family. Ellen, 60, her hair gray and eyes weary, apologized for her distance. "I didn't know how to be a mother after your father," she said. Nora, her voice hoarse, forgave her, seeing her own strength in her mother's survival. Mia, an artist now showing in local galleries, confessed her anger had masked fear of losing Nora too. "I need my sister," she said. Nora shared her 48 hours, her regrets, her hallucinations, her fight. The ocean had stripped her bare, revealing her need for connection. She vowed to rebuild with Mia and Ellen, starting with small steps, dinners, art shows, honest talks. Her work at the university resumed, but she shifted focus, launching a coastal safety initiative inspired by her ordeal, ensuring no one else would face the sea alone. Months later, Nora stood on Riverside's pier, Mia's sketchbook in hand, a gift from their renewed bond. The ocean stretched before her, no longer a refuge, but a teacher. She'd faced death and found life, not just survival, but family, purpose, love. Riverside City's lights glowed, a reminder that even in the darkest waters, hope could guide you home.